Next on Worcester News tonight, helping drug users instead of arresting them. The town of Southbridge is trying to tackle the opioid epidemic with a unique program. Plus, a couple who has been together for more than 60 years share their success to a successful relationship on this Valentine's Day. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. An effort in the town of Southbridge is hoping to take on the opioid epidemic one user at a time. The program was created by police and a local hospital. It allows opioid users to get treatment instead of facing jail time, and they want to reach as many people impacted by drugs as they can this year. Our Cam Jandro has the story.
Yeah, Anna, Chief Woodson got the idea for CARE when he was in Gloucester and saw the police department doing a very similar program, and he hopes this will cut back on the amount of deaths and overdoses in the town of Southbridge. Opioids are a major issue in Southbridge. The town describes the situation here as a crisis. So, Police Chief Shane Woodson and Harrington Hospital started the Community Assistance Recovery for Everyone program. It allows opioid users to seek treatment without prosecution.
We treat diabetes with medicine. So this is the type of thing where I think it's turned in the country now where everybody's kind of addressing it that way now. It can't be we're going to arrest somebody who has one bag of heroin on them.
Last year, the CARE program had 15 users go to the police for help. After an interview, they're transferred to Harrington Hospital if they're considered nonviolent and low risk. Chief Woodson hopes CARE will change lives.
If it saves one person, if they're able to turn their life around and become productive members of society, no longer be addicted to drugs, I think the program's successful.
The town has reported 20 overdose deaths in the last 5 years, and Woodson says first responders administered Narcan 153 times in the last 2 years. Harrington Hospital's CEO Edward Moore says the CARE program helps users beyond just treating overdoses.
Although the frontline folks, the responders, can help with Narcan and help revive someone, it's really not going to be all that useful if they don't get treatment.
CARE aims to remove the stigma surrounding addiction and tries to make people feel comfortable enough to ask for help.
So the key is to be able to feel comfortable in having people support it in a way that they get the right help.
It's more of a long-term treatment type of process that I think we need to move towards, and that all starts with education at a young age.
Now, being the only hospital in the area, Moore says he felt Harrington had to step up to help the community on this opioid crisis. Right now, the police department says they're advertising the CARE program through flyers and through their social media pages as well in an effort to try and reach as many people as possible. Anna?
Thanks, Cam. Meanwhile, there is some positive news on the opioid epidemic. A new report from the state shows opioid-related deaths dropped more than 8% in 2017. According to the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, this is the first time in several years there's been a year-over-year decline. The total number of estimated and confirmed opioid-related overdose deaths in 2017 was 1,977, which is 178 fewer deaths than 2016. In a statement, Governor Charlie Baker says while there's still a lot of work to do, this report is encouraging news, giving us hope we're beginning to bend the curve of this epidemic. The Worcester NAACP hosting a meet and greet for gubernatorial candidate Setti in the city tonight. Warren is the former mayor of Newton and an Iraqi war veteran. Wednesday night, he discussed how, as mayor, he took over a city with a multi-million-dollar debt and no rainy day account. When he left office, Newton had a AAA rating with a $40 million rainy day account. If elected governor in November of 2018, Warren says he'll focus on a few areas.
What the needs are for our people here in the Commonwealth. We have a broken down transportation system. In some places, it's non-existent. I believe we got to ask people who are doing well in this economy to contribute more so we can reinvest that and ensure we have a transportation system here.
Warren says education is another big priority, including revising the Chapter 70 formula, which funds K through 12. He also believes in free public college. While the NAACP did host the meet and greet tonight, they've made it clear it is not an endorsement. It's Valentine's Day, and here in the city, many took the evening to go out to dinner with a loved one. Others stayed in. Our Gretchen LaRosa caught up with one local couple who have been married for more than 60 years and are sharing their secrets to a successful marriage.
They say their marriage is built off friendship and respect.
And agree. We may not think it's perfect, but I'm always been committed to Margaret.
But I think we've both been very, very considerate of each other. I mean, we've loved each other, but we've been very considerate of each other.
The two met as college students in Boston and have been together ever since. Although they met at a young age, they knew they had something unique.
And, you know, at the age of 19, you haven't exactly defined love, but this was special.
While the Aherns are enjoying a quiet Valentine's Day at home, others in Worcester are celebrating with a night out. Volturno was one of the several restaurants hosting couples Wednesday night. Manager Marco Raposo says the goal is to make the experience special for guests.
The way that we try to help our guests, our friends, to do this is by providing them or having them try something else. So that's one of the reasons why we have a specific menu or a special menu for tonight.
And if this Valentine's Day didn't go as planned, take it from a couple with some experience. The Aherns say a romance is not always flawless.
I think every marriage goes through difficult times. And, but hopefully you can weather it and talk it through and walk it through.
Not perfection now. I don't want to say that we don't, with an Irish temperament and a strong English will, it's a good mix.
Now at the time, Margaret couldn't even afford a wedding ring, so she went to the hospital that she worked, donated blood for $25, and she was finally able to afford that ring for her husband. Anna, back to you.
Thanks, Gretchen. What an amazing love story. Well, Worcester has a long history with Valentine's Day. In the 1800s, Worcester was responsible for the mass production of the Valentine. It all started with Esther Howland after she received a Valentine from Europe. Her father was a stationer and had access to lace, color papers, and scraps. The Worcester Historical Museum has several of Howland's Valentines on display.
Look at early Esther Howland Valentines in Taft and Whitney. They're mostly flowers and people, very few hearts. It's with that new generation of printed Valentines from the Whitney Company that you start to see a lot of hearts and a lot of red. Before that, it could be flowers, it could be angelic creatures, it could be a butterfly on the lacy Valentine.
This is also the 40th year the Historical Museum has hosted a Valentine making competition for elementary students. A winner is selected from each grade for each category. Switching gears, tough conditions for firefighters in Oxford today, battling a 2-alarm fire. Firefighters had to be evacuated from the home at one point due to conditions. The fire broke out around 1:30 this afternoon on Old Worcester Road. The house is close to the Clara Barton School. It forced parents to pick up their children at a nearby location. The fire chief says thankfully no one was injured and everyone made it out safely. The cause is under investigation. A Worcester man is sentenced to 6 to 7 years in state prison for his role in a 2014 fatal shooting. According to the Worcester County District Attorney's Office, 37-year-old Fabiano Sanabria pled guilty to firearm and accessory charges from a fatal shooting at the Albion rooming house. 52-year-old Lloyd Worcester was shot to death in January of 2014. According to prosecutors, Sanabria lived at the rooming house. Security guard Howard Penn was charged with first-degree murder in the shooting death of Worcester, who worked as a maintenance man at the Albion. A Worcester family is looking for answers tonight. They say it's been 2 weeks since they last saw Gary Metcalf. The 61-year-old kept to himself, but his family is hoping someone knows something. Our Brittany Schaefer has more on the family's message.
I just can't believe this happened.
Elizabeth McConnell hasn't seen her brother Gary Metcalf in 2 weeks. The 61-year-old is missing, and McConnell is desperate for answers.
My brother is practically my twin. We share the same birthday, 7 years apart. It was something that we had. He lived with me for 2 years.
The McConnell family says they are very close with Metcalf, and not checking in is unlike him.
He was over here Tuesday the 30th for dinner. And we brought him home Tuesday night, like, normally. And Monday came around and he didn't show up. He's usually here on Monday, but we're like, he might be doing overtime or, his shift changed. So the whole week went by and we didn't see him again.
Elizabeth McConnell filed a report with Worcester police this week after checking where he lives and his work. They say no one has seen him for 2 weeks. Now they are posting dozens of flyers across Worcester.
You know, we just went to the train station, the bus station, the library. We went to every place that we knew he frequented.
McConnell says when she last talked to Metcalf, he was worried about losing his job and becoming homeless, but she assured him everything was okay.
He was concerned about his job because he had had a small altercation with someone at work.
And then he was worried about getting fired because of it, because he was complaining about this person not doing a good job.
The McConnells just want their loved one to return and have a message for him.
Gary, we love you and we miss you and we hope you come home safe to us soon.
Gary, if you see this or if anybody sees Gary, tell him to come home.
I just want to see him walking through the gate again. He has to know that we love him.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Today marks the first day of Lent, also known as Ash Wednesday. The day comes 40 calendar days before Easter on the Christian calendar. Christians who observe Lent often use it as a time of prayer and penance. In Worcester, dozens gathered at the Cathedral of St. Paul for Mass this afternoon. Bishop Robert McManus says today is a day to celebrate the start of the Easter season and share a message of peace.
So the purpose of Lent is for 40 days to step back from our everyday routine and to look at our relationship to God and to the church, especially by praying more, abstaining from food, and also helping those less fortunate than myself. So it's a moment of conversion, a moment of great grace.
This year, Easter falls on April 1st. The English word Lent is shortened form of an Old English word Lenten, which means spring.